the American dream is dead. But if I get elected president, I will bring it back bigger and better and stronger than ever before, and we will make America great again. Thank you. Thank you very much.
2016, year of the snake. It's time for a change in the White House, y'all. Liberty. Bring it. If you want the real deal, then you gotta get a real leader. Want a real leader, then we need a real man. Build a wall, it will
How's it going, everybody? Click the share button. Let folks know we are live. Let folks know we are live as always. Oh, some bad censorship today on Facebook. We're going to talk about that today. So let folks know we are live. Click the share button, Jose. Thank you. Yes, 4 more years. There's my Munkin. There's my Helena. If you've been watching the convention, Jose, it's pretty obvious we're going to have a pretty solid chance at 4 more years. It's the house we got to get back, you guys. It's the house. So let folks know we're live. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff tonight. It is our Wednesday. We're going to do Q&A. We're going to talk about censorship. We're going to talk about what's going on with the DNC. There's Kevin. How's it going? Nancy, good to see you. Make America great again. Great again. Great again. 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 Yes, definitely put that there. Like Chris says he has a link to Outlaw Morgan's post about what's going on with Facebook. Definitely share that here, Chris, so that people can take a look at what's happening to our other patriots, our other podcasters, our other...
Do you like having the right to bear arms? Protect your family?
What's the word I want to look for? Our other citizen journalists,
Have jobs available too.
you know, our crew,
You know who we
our
need?
live stream crew.
Starts with a D.
Hey, Nancy, how's it going? Tennessee. I love Tennessee. Come on, strong.
When I say talk, you say hell high. Make America great again. Make America great again. Make America.
So let folks know we're here by clicking the share button. Invite some folks in. As you know, we're probably going to see a lot of numbers try to drop off on a regular basis, suppressing views, etc. So, read to it. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. You are watching the one and only Trump Talk US live in DC with Suzzanne Monk. I am Suzzanne Monk. We are 8 minutes away from our nation's beautiful capital. We're 15 minutes away from the president's White House. We have Chris McDonald representing Trump Talk US in the room here. He's sharing links. In fact, the link he's just shared right now is from Outlaw Morgan. Excuse me. From Outlaw Morgan, who is talking about the censorship that is going on Facebook. Now, I didn't put this in the description because if you start talking about Q and QAnon right now, the Facebook censors freak out. They freak out. But that's because the media is jacked on this topic. The media is jacked on the QAnon topic. Now, here's why. They're doing it to themselves, you guys. They're doing it to themselves. It's kind of funny to watch. As you know, our good friend Marjorie Greene, we love her. We love Marjorie Taylor Greene. Good friend, patriot. Hello, there's Loretta, someone who I personally have citizen lobbied with right here in the halls of Congress, walking around door to door, talking to different Congress people and senators about red flag laws. No, leave the link, Chris, because it's in the comments, so we're in a good place. I just didn't want to put in the description that we're going to talk about the QAnon deletions, because that's really what it is Facebook is trying to delete people who talk about Q, who support Q, who are posting Q drops, are posting screenshots of Q drops. So they're controlling Q information. Now, why are they doing that? Why are they controlling Q information? Well, because they themselves want to use the QAnon phenomenon as a slander tactic against the president. I know. I know. It makes me laugh too how stupid it sounds, right? It makes me laugh how stupid it sounds, because they're the ones talking about it. The president is talking about it. Of course, that's the purpose of Q, is not to go around blathering and talking about it, telling everybody this, that, and the other thing. It is a system by which people are gathering and disseminating information that is otherwise outside of the mainstream media, and it has been since the beginning. Since the beginning of Q, it has been a mechanism by which individuals are sharing information that is outside the mainstream media. Now, some of that information is proven to be maybe inaccurate, might be a word. Some of it isn't proven to be ill-timed, not appropriately. Some of it is just out of the blue. Like, it's not, we don't even know what it is. Who knows? It's just confusing. But from the beginning, it was said that would be the intention, that there would be some information that was going to be intentionally misinformative, that there was going to be misinformation to misdirect some of the people who might be following this and might not have the best interest in heart. Maybe people not on our side. The enemy's reading as well. So we were told there would be misinformation. We were told there would be misdirection. And so this is what's so funny. Yes, Loretta, this will also fail for the Dems. I'm going to put this up. This will also fail the Dems, and it's going to fail immediately and directly, which is why they are trying so hard to crush the information on the internet. Because by mentioning it in the press, in the press conferences, by mentioning it to the president, by asking the question now a few times, does the president know about QAnon? Does the president support QAnon? Now, the president was great today. I love the president. He's been great when he was asked about it in relation to Marjorie's post. Now, Marjorie, who has not been like hyper QAnon, but certainly each and every one of us has shared a Q post, has shared some information, shared a meme that was themed about Q. Each and every one of us has, because we know. Anyone who says they haven't, I don't know where you've been under a rock, I guess, because each one of us has found hope in Q. We've found frustration in Q. We have found confusion. We've all found all of those things in QAnon, in the Q drops, in the believers, the people who are every single drop they read and they interpret, and we've laughed, we've cried, we've hoped, we've prayed, we've gotten angry, we've done all those things. And yet what we see now is the media trying to use it as a weapon. Well, here's the thing. There's a lot of great information that Q has disseminated. And certainly now with the hashtag Save the Children movement, with the just flux, if you will, this flood even of anti-pedophilia information that is coming out, the Ghislaine case, the Epstein case, more and more information becoming available and relevant. They're starting to get nervous, okay? So they wanted to push back. They tried to use it to push back on these candidates, which they just don't have a lot to push back against. Candidates like Marjorie Greene, they just don't have, the mainstream leftist media don't have a lot to push back against. What are they going to do? Say that she's a gun supporter? Excuse me. I'm allergic to Democrats. I tell you, every time I talk about the Democrats, that makes me sneeze. that she supports the Second Amendment, that she's, what are you going to say? Because that's going to win her votes in her district. Frankly, supporting, understanding, and at least paying attention and knowing what QAnon is, that's not going to hurt you with the voting block either. It's not going to hurt you with the voting block either. They're working very hard to tie her and Laura Loomer together, thinking that somehow that is going to hurt Marjorie and it's going to hurt Laura. I think it helps both of them. I think seeing two strong patriot women who we know, we have watched time and time again, fight against the system, be censored, be attacked, be smeared and slandered. Why? Because they support this country, because they have real questions about what the deep state and what our elites have been doing. They have real questions about Hillary Clinton and the Russiagate and the illegal wiretapping of the president and the Clintons and their years of behavior and their friends and what's going on with the celebrities and all of it. We have questions about. They've had questions about. So it's certainly, there's nothing irrational about asking those questions, but here's what's great. Now, since the media keeps asking, the president keeps giving vague answers, people keep looking. They keep looking it up. They keep questioning it. They keep asking, what is this Q? What is this QAnon? What the hell are these media people talking about? And more people find out. And more people start getting turned on to the fact that there are, in fact, elite circles of pedophiles who are, in fact, controlling and manipulating the political scene so that they can protect their nefarious and heinous way of life. It's just facts. I don't want to belabor the point, but it's just facts. We know what Prince Andrew did. We know what Bill Clinton has done. We know what Epstein has done. We know what Ghislaine Maxwell has done. We know what Allison Small did. We know what Keith Rainier did. We know what these folks have done. We know what these folks have done. So it's not, it's not like we're getting any new exciting information. It's pretty much all what we know. It's just that more folks are getting that information. So, and the media is now helping. The media is now helping by mentioning it over and over. The president is handling it very well because he continues to make people, hey, Kathy, how's it going? The president is handling it very well because he continues to give that curious response that makes people in the media just, he won't say anything about it. I keep asking him, keep trying to get him. Keep trying to get that gotcha question. He won't gotcha. You're right. He won't. And today, the little journalist, bless her little heart, was like, well, people say that it's a satanic pedophile ring of cannibals and that you're going to try to save the world from them. And he was like, well, would that be a bad thing to save the world from satanic pedophiles? That sounds bad. That sounds like a good thing. I love my president. That the media, that the journalist actually has to now describe and explain it, and to try to explain it in this crazy way. Now, here's the reality of the situation. There are pedophiles. Okay. There are Satanists in elite positions. There are Satanists and pedophiles. Now, I beyond that, I don't know. There's some pretty obvious evidence that there are cannibal Satanist pedophiles. That's a thing. But what I can tell you is they're open Satanists, and the pedophile information is overt enough and repeated enough and evidenced enough that that's clear. So we at least have two of the three. I think, frankly, the president's saving the world from any of that. And we are seeing real progress being made in the human trafficking. I mean, President Trump has done more to bring down human trafficking. He shut down human trafficking on the southern border by about 96%. It's phenomenal what the president is doing in that sense. We also have now started to see arrests from Operation Legend. So the president's crackdown on political violence, criminal violence across the country is starting to merit significant arrests, including arrests for 90 homicides. So we're seeing the president's efforts. They're seeing the president's efforts really crack down. Now the DNC, they're doing the little convention this week. They're not showing a lot of that convention on the media. It's kind of obvious. Why? Because they become so far radically left that if they actually showed the average voter what they're saying to their base, what their base message is, they would radically lose any of the moderate votes they have. Radically. So what the Democrats have been left to do is try to convince everyone in America, try to convince the entire world that the president, you guys, this is so stupid. The president, according to the Democrats, the president is trying to steal the election, okay, by stealing mailboxes. By stealing mailboxes so that the Democrats can't mail their votes. Yeah, this is how dumb the Democrats are. And what they're trying to do is saying, well, by doing this, by taking away the mailboxes, he's preventing, this is the part that kills me. He is preventing the Social Security checks from getting delivered. Now, you guys, I don't know about you, okay? I don't know about you. I have a mailbox in front of my house. It's my mailbox, right? For my house. And that's where the mail comes in. All right. That's where the mail for me comes in to them into the mailbox for me in the mailbox, right? The mail comes in. I don't get mail out of the blue mailbox. Okay. I put mail into the mailbox. If I want to get outgoing mail, I go and I put it in the blue mailbox. Okay. If I want incoming mail, I wait and they put it in my mailbox. Now the post office is not moving or changing any personal mailboxes. Okay. So at no point in time, and people have said, oh, well, that's dumb. The Democrats are dumb because Social Security checks are delivered digitally. Well, okay, that's a good point. That does make Democrats pretty dumb. You know what makes them even more dumb? Trying to pretend like you get mail out of the blue mailbox. That is an outgoing mailbox. It is not an incoming mailbox. No one's check is getting withheld because there is not a blue outgoing mailbox on their street. Your Social Security check is not going through that box. Okay? The outgoing mail goes, that is the box for you to put your letters that go out. Unless you're paying Social Security. Hello, Cindy, how's it going? Unless you're paying the checks. All right, your Social Security check is not going through the outgoing mailbox. It is going through the post office. Yes, your arm will get stuck if you try to do not try to get mail out of that box. I'm telling you, it's a federal crime. By the way, trying to get mail out of that blue box that is in the blue box, if you drop a letter in there accidentally, you're like, crap, I dropped a letter in there I didn't want to. I wrote an angry, drunk letter to my baby daddy and I didn't want to mail it, and then I accidentally mailed it. Okay, don't stick your hand in there and try to steal that mail. Seriously, it is a federal crime. So no one is getting any mail out of the blue box. So even if they took every single blue mailbox, even if President Trump rented all of the Allied fleet and he just drove around every single neighborhood and picked up all the mailboxes and got a ratchet, took all the mailboxes, took them, put them like the Grinch that stole mail, put them on a truck, drove them up into the mountains, right, with the dog and the little antler tied to his head, drove them up into the mountains, away from the Whovilles who wanted to vote. Okay? And he's like, that will stop voting day. I've taken the mailboxes. Even if that were the case, your check still wouldn't come from those mailboxes. Your check would still arrive. Everybody's Social Security check would still magically arrive. Why? Because the damn blue mailboxes have nothing to do with you receiving your mail. Idiots. How's it going, Carol? So I just want to let's just start their mail discussion. This big thing, President Trump is stealing the mail. He's stealing the vote through the mail. He's stealing the mailboxes. And now grandma can't get her Social Security check. Oh my God, Democrats, please stop being so stupid. Please stop being so stupid. Okay? Even if Grinch Trump is up in the mountains with all the mailboxes, everybody's still getting their checks. All right? Now, that being said, let's just go along with this scenario a little further. Okay, so we have the mailboxes, right? Let's just imagine, okay, you're a Democrat. You're afraid of the Rona. Okay, you've got your little mask. You've got your little mask on. You're like, oh, I'm afraid of the Rona. You've got your little, so here, you got your little mask. You're probably wearing it. Or we'll do the whole thing. Let's do the routine here. Let's do the routine. All right. I want to do the demonstration of, okay, if I'm a scaredy Democrat, right? I got my little mask. I'm an idiot and I wear it under my nose because that's what Democrats do. Okay, so I got my little mask. I'm covered up. All right, but I'm scared. I'm scared to go and vote because masks and I can't wear it above my nose because I'm an idiot. I'm breathing. I'm touching everything. So what do I do? I use my mail-in ballot. I'm like, oh, awesome. I got a mail-in ballot. It has no way of verifying. It's good. It's totally unsecure. It's going to make it easy for me to vote, with my mask that I wear all day, even in my car. It's going to make me easy to vote and not get corona, right? So they're going to fill out their mail-in ballot. And then they're going to walk out. They're going to put their mask on extra goody, extra tight, right? Extra good. And get their mask on. I'm going to get that. Maybe they'll get the, the downside here. They want to get it good and fitted. Okay. Let's try. Good and fitted. All right. Let's see. Wait for it. I should go to the grocery store like this one of these days just to show people how stupid this is. So, yeah. Okay. So this is good. I'm still able to breathe. I still blow my nose because I'm a dumb Democrat and this is what I do. So, I go out of my house. I got my mail-in ballot. I'm like, I got my ballot. I'm so excited. I got my ballot. I'm like, yes, I got my ballot. I'm going to go vote for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris because I like black people, even though there are no black people on the ticket. There's just an Indo-Jamaican that was an ex-cop that put people in jail for weed smoking, even though she was a weed smoker, and Joe Biden, who, sniffs everybody and has never been good at anything government. I'm going to vote for them because that's what I'm supposed to do because I'm a Democrat. And I go to the mailbox. Go to the mailbox. Where's the mailbox? What has happened? What has happened? See, now I'm already getting excited, so I'm starting to suck my mask into my face. I'm decreasing my oxygen levels already. I'm already decreasing oxygen levels. Where is the mailbox? I'm so upset. Where's the mailbox? I went down to the end of the block. The mailbox is gone. What do? I fall on my knees. I go, Trump! I shake my fist in the air. I can't vote. My vote is stolen. Now, see, if I weren't a dumb Democrat, right? I would know that if the mailbox at the end of my block isn't there, there are countless other mailboxes around the city, countless other mailboxes around the town where you can mail. If you get done, you go to the end of the block, it's not there. Crap. No mailbox. What am I going to do? Oh, I might have to walk 2 blocks over to that other mailbox. So I could just walk. If I weren't a dumb Democrat, see, if I'm a Democrat, I'm screaming, no, Trump, you stole my mailbox. But if I'm a Republican, I could just walk over 2 blocks. Now, if I'm a Republican, I'm smart, and I'm going to actually vote in person at the polls. Let me repeat what I just said. If I'm a Republican, I'm smart, and I'm going to vote in person at the polls because I do not trust the post office to not read my vote and go Republican and throw it right in the garbage bin, okay? I don't trust them. Now, Loretta, you make a great point. You make a great point. Guess what? Okay, so I'm going down. I go down to the post. Maybe I'm one of those Democrats. I'm not super stupid. Okay, so let me get my vote back. Hold up. They threw my vote away at the post office, but let me get it back because now it's a Democrat vote. Okay, now it's a Democrat vote, so they threw. It's all good. Maybe I'm one of those smart Democrats who actually understands how to use PPE equipment. So I'm a little smarter than the average one. So it's covered my nose. I'm covering my nose now, but I'm still. Hey, Francis, how's it going? I still am afraid of the Rona, so I'm still going to use a Democrat. I'm still going to mail in ballot because that's what I'm told. I should mail in ballot. That's what keeps grandma safe. If you vote in person, you're killing grandma. How rude of you. So anyway, but I'm smart. Okay, so I go down to the end of my block. Trump has stolen my mailbox. I'm like, Trump. I'm like, but you know what? No, Trump, no. I'm not going to let you steal my vote. I'm going to go down 2 blocks over to the other mailbox. Okay, let's just imagine. So smart Democrat. I know it's an oxymoron. Goes over, walks 2 blocks over, boom, boom, boom. Mailbox. Put the vote in. Now, what if? Okay. What if? Let's just assume Trump is Orange Man bad and he's stealing all the mailboxes. But yeah, let's just assume that they're correct, Christy. Okay. And Trump is stealing all the mailboxes. All right. They get to the other mailbox 2 blocks away, not the one at the end of the street, 2 blocks away. They get to the mailbox. They're like, Trump stole my mailbox. They could just go to the post office. They could just go to the post office and give them the letter and say, hey, will you mail my vote? I need you to. In fact, we've advised on this show, as you know, to actually do that, to go and have your vote hand postmarked, to make sure that it is postmarked, because the prepaid postage is going to cause a problem across the country, as the post office does not usually postmark prepaid postage. So I've already said, if you've got to use that mail-in ballot, go directly to the post office. Go directly to the post office to drop off that letter. So this is what the Democrats are worried about. All right? Is Trump is stealing the election through the thing. Now, Kevin, you're absolutely right. Okay? You're 100% correct. Because in reality, we've started to take a look at the mail-in ballots. And we are noticing that in the barcodes on the envelopes, in some states even color-coded, it's very obvious that your vote is Republican or Democrat. Kind of like this. It'd be like this obvious. Oh, that's a good vote. Keep that vote. Oh, that's not a good vote. Chuck that vote. That's how obvious it's becoming. So I want everyone to vote in person. I need you guys to actually vote in person. I need you guys to actually go to the poll, get your ballot, go and vote in person. I will be voting in person, but I will probably be voting in person as a curbside ballot, which means they will take my identification. They will go and get my form. They will bring my ballot out to the curb where the poll worker is. I will fill out my ballot. I will hand it in. That's what I had to do. For the election, for the primary election, because I would not wear a mask because of going Nick. Yes, I know, Loretta. Most post offices have drive-up mailboxes. You could wear your mask by yourself in your car. 100%. 100%. Tracy, I'm going to mention that in a minute, so hold on to that thought for a second. So this is what the Democrats are crazy about. This is what the Democrats are freaking out about. Their vote's going to be stolen. Grandma's not going to get her Social Security check, and it's all going to be ruined, oddly enough, by mail-in ballots, which the president is now controlling. So the left wants us to believe. You guys, I started to take a look at it and started to understand a little bit more about what they're trying to do. And interestingly enough, I'm starting to think that it has less and less to do with the ability to manipulate the vote, and more to do with the ability to reject the vote, once it has been cast. What they're really trying to do is create chaos in the mail-in voting system, in the election system, so that they can claim the illegitimacy of the election, Now, is that going to work? No. Is that going to? That's so unfortunate, Tracy. I'm gonna pop in a second. Is that going to help? Is that going to help in the long run the Democrat Party and the Democrat ideals? No, it's going to destroy them. It's going to literally destroy them in front of their faces, and we're going to see that. Their scorched earth strategy, their political scorched earth strategy that we see them using, is only going to cause them long-term harm. In reality, it is driving more and more people away from the Democrat Party and towards President Trump, even people who are very surprised that they find themselves supporting President Trump. So, it's interesting. It's interesting to see. Now, see, the little trolls are already over here. Now, it doesn't seem to make any bit of difference that Trump did not in any way remove the mailboxes or the sorting machines, that these are all regular routine procedures which are going on. In fact, many of the adjustments are based on improving efficiency and trying to help a failing post office who is already up to its eyeballs in debt and over expenditure to actually try to create some level of solvency and economic sustainability within the organization. Unfortunately, we're going to have to wait until after the election. Because all of the changes, all the improvements, in fact, any just general maintenance even, is going to be put on hold, because the Democrats want to believe their little mythical lie that the mailboxes are getting stolen and the mail sorting machines are getting stolen, and that's going to slow down the voting process. When in reality, what's slowing down the voting process is this idea that you're going to now flood the post office and the Board of Elections with a mail-in voting system that has never been tested and is certainly going to overwhelm the system. All the while, you're keeping everybody 6 feet apart and all these ridiculous social distancing rules. So, this is what we're having. This is what we're having to deal with. Is the left has lost their mind. They're mad. Their little mail-in scheme is getting outed, is really what's happening. And more people are becoming aware of the dangers of mail-in voting. And more Republicans are looking to vote in person. So the idea that we're going to actually get that they're going to be able to determine whose votes are Republican or Democrat, and they're going to throw out all these Republican votes, well, to no avail, because the vast majority of Republicans are still going to vote in person. The vast majority of Republicans know better than to fall for these shenanigans. So the reality is, and this is the thing. I'm going to bring up the little troll comment just because they make a point that needs to be covered. They say, not true. We've been voting by mail since the Civil War. Different states. This is the left is all dumb, and this is what we have to keep educating them. Different states vote different, boo-boo. Different states have different methods of voting. Did you know that? And in fact, some states have a caucus primary. Some states have a ballot primary. Their primaries are all different. Their elections are different. Where they vote, when they vote, how whether or not they have early voting, all that's different state by state, baby. And so in some states where they have had mail-in voting, where they've developed the mail-in voting systems over years, some of the problems have been resolved. But in states where they have implemented mail-in voting just this year, like New York, many other states we've seen who have either just implemented or significantly increased the mail-in voting, they've found significant problems. significant problems, including not being able to get the votes to the electorate on time, to the Board of Elections on time, so they cannot be counted, not having the votes postmarked by the post office, so they're getting thrown out. So the votes are just getting thrown out because they aren't being postmarked by the post office. Not being able to count the votes because we do not have the same mechanisms for counting mail-in ballots as we do others. Being able to verify and confirm those votes, also much more difficult because of the necessary matching of signatures, etc. So there's been a lot of problems. In fact, they're still counting votes in the New York primary. Still. So that's the ridiculous thing that we have to continue to educate these lefties about. Yes, mail-in voting existed. Did it exist in every state on a mass scale? No. Are states that do not have implemented mail-in voting up until now, up until this election season, up until this year, are they prepared to go to an all mail-in voting system? No. No, genius. The solution is to go and vote in person like we have every other year of our lives, like we do every other election. The solution is go frickin' vote, okay? We won this country during a smallpox pandemic. We're not playing these little games with you assholes. All right? It's your fault that you want to believe a virus with 99.8% survival rate should keep everybody away from the polls. If you're afraid of the polls, you go and stay home and vote by mail. If your vote takes too long to get to the Board of Elections, if your vote gets thrown out because it doesn't get postmarked, that's on you. It's not us. We can vote. If you can go out and protest, if you can go out and complain that Black Lives Matter while ignoring the fact that all Black Lives Matter, you can go vote. Sorry, boo-boos. You can't have it both ways. President Trump has called your bluff. He's called your bluff 100%. And no, see, this is the last I tell. This is the last. No, Trump did not vote by mail. Okay. You are misunderstanding mail-in ballot versus absentee ballot. See, the absentee ballot is actually verified. That means somebody said they sent in the thing. President sent in a form. I would like my ballot. I am not in the state of Florida where I usually vote. I am in Washington, D.C. where I work. Where he works as your president. I'm requesting an absentee ballot so they get the thing. They check his signature. They go, that's him. And they send him the ballot. Okay. He fills it out. He sends it back. Absentee ballot. That is different from a mail-in ballot. Mail-in ballot just shows up at your door. You don't have to request it. No signature is verified. It's not matched to your voter registration. It is just sent en masse to your door. Doesn't matter if you wanted it. Doesn't matter if you still live at that house. Doesn't matter if you still live in that state. They send your ballot. If you're on the voter list, they send your ballot. We know for a fact millions of people on the voter rolls across different states, not removed, or they've moved out of state, passed away, etc. Not removed. All those ballots getting sent out. So, this is my problem with you idiots on the left and this mail-in batting situation. You created the problem by telling everybody this hoax of a lie that we all need to stay shut down when we didn't need to stay shut down. Sweden didn't stay shut down. Other nations did not shut down. In fact, China is now reopened. So why are we still shut down? Why are we adding mask mandates? Why are we adding restrictions rather than reopening? Could it be that we have elections? Could it be that we want to make sure that we can force everybody to mail in ballot? Well, but no, we're not doing that. So now the left is screwed. Now they put themselves in the situation. Now they put themselves in a situation where their model of mail-in voting, their little scheme to control the votes, isn't going to work. And they're mad. And so now they're screaming bloody murder at the president. And they will continue to do so. Just like your little lefties will continue to come and put random numbers of deaths in here, knowing full well that we have conflated the number of deaths with any other cause of death whatsoever. We have called it a COVID death if COVID antibodies are even present. By the way, COVID antibodies tests that actually 60% of the time actually are determining that you have had some other coronavirus other than the SARS-CoV-2 virus. So nobody really knows how many deaths there were. In fact, the CDC has rectified its own numbers, and the media still reports. In fact, you guys, the left, still report these crazy numbers that have been rectified multiple times with the CDC because they've had to actually come clean that they're just labeling every death in America as a COVID death. This is why we're not listening to you anymore. This is why we're not listening to you anymore, because we've actually seen, and y'all can say everything is a conspiracy theory. They'll say, go look at the facts. The CDC has had to reduce its numbers and has openly stated that they are counting all deaths as COVID deaths if COVID antibodies were present, whether or not the cause of death was COVID. They're stating it. It's not a conspiracy theory. They're openly stating it. They've openly stated it in press conferences. They've openly stated it in press releases. It is openly written on their website. I hate to tell you lefties this, but you guys are butt dumb and you don't do any research. And then you come and you say like, oh, conspiracy theories, but it's not a conspiracy theory. It's factual. And you know what? What's the sad part of it is you're so partisan and crazy about how about this conspiracy theory, which you've been told by your leftist agenda to continue to press as a conspiracy theory, when in fact it's a fact. You're so concerned about that you're willing to let the globalists, the people that you claim you don't like, the 1%, the worst, the 0.1%. You're letting them literally control the world. You're letting them buy out other countries, buy other nations' loyalty because these other countries are so strapped because of the shutdowns and the pandemic response that was required by the World Health Organization that they are now actually desperate. They're buying these countries up at pennies on the dollar, and you're standing for it. And you're not only standing for that, you're standing for millions and millions of children being added to the rolls of starvation to death. Millions more children will die of starvation because of the shit you people put up with, because of your shutdown mantra, because of your, all these deaths that aren't deaths. Oh, it's a conspiracy theory when it's right there on the CDC website. You idiots are killing people by the millions. Sucks to be on your side of history, you guys. Sucks. So glad to be on this side of history. Thank you, Virginia. Yeah, and this is what they say. I guess conspiracy theories are easier to believe than the truth. Well, yeah, you're right. Conspiracy theories about President Trump picking up your mailboxes and stealing the election are much easier to believe than the fact that you are helping the communist globalists starve millions of children to death next year so that they can buy and control many, many nations through the World Bank and through globalist organizations like the World Health Organization. Yeah, must suck to actually have to think the truth. That your behavior is going to be responsible for the death of millions. It's probably why you guys don't tell yourself the truth ever. That's probably why you guys hide yourselves from the truth on a regular basis. Because if you had to actually look at what you're doing, you'd cry. You'd probably shoot yourself. You might shoot yourselves. I don't want you to do that. What would be? But what I'd like you to do is wake up and not be such idiots. Yeah, who knows? We'll see what happens. You guys pretty much like to stay idiots. So that's what's going on with the mailbox situation. The left has obviously lost their damn minds. But you know what? Go ahead and watch the DNC. If you just watch the DNC convention, you can see they've lost their minds. I want to talk a little bit about a moment in the DNC convention. As some of my friends have noted, AOC came out and seconded the Bernie Sanders nomination And some folks have been like, oh, well, that's good. She's standing, she's independent. She's not being, being led by the Democrats. It was kind of bold of her. I'm going to explain something to you. Bernie Sanders was in the election long enough. Bernie Sanders was in the election long enough to actually have earned about 1,173 delegates. Okay. So, as is the tradition, once you have earned those delegates, your name will be read as in nomination in the DNC. And the DNC. You have to have a second. She was asked. AOC was asked to second. It's all play, pomp, and circumstance. There's no caring about Bernie Sanders' message. Democrats, leftists, just FYI, there's no caring about Bernie Sanders' message. They're not all of a sudden caring about all the things that Bernie said. They're not all of a sudden really excited about you, Bernie Bros. They want your vote. They want you, Bernie Bros, to come out and vote. They don't care about your issues. They don't care about your issues. They don't care about what values might have brought you to vote for Bernie Sanders. They just want your vote for Joe Biden. Desperately. 100%. That's what they're looking for. So this is why we go through the pomp. This is why we go through the circumstances. This is why we go through the procedure and the process. It's what they do. It's what they do every time. AOC is just as puppet stringed as she has ever been, and probably ongoing and more so. So now I will say, nothing is more ridiculous than this Zoom convention. This idea that we're having this Zoom convention, everyone's sitting in their little areas and their cubes, and we're doing this somehow digitally. When in fact, we know these folks are having fundraiser parties in person. The hypocrisy is absolutely absurd. But as you know, they have no choice but to live within this hypocrisy, because they created this shutdown paranoia. They created this idea that if we go out in public, how's it going, Karen? If we go out in public, we're all going to kill grandma. Despite the fact that we see no verifiable cases of asymptomatic transmission. I continue to state that. And I continue to look for somebody to provide me any information to challenge that. Any scientific literature whatsoever, any scientific literature whatsoever that has evidence, proven evidence of asymptomatic transmission, please send it to me. Because even the cases that we even have already, either A, are from China, which are not verifiable. They won't send us the data. You can't get the scientific data from them. Or they are cases that have literally had to rescind their statement that asymptomatic transmission occurred, because it did not occur. Because they actually bothered to do the rest of the research. What do they find out? Oh, they had symptoms. So then they invented a whole new word, pre-symptomatic. Right. Pre-symptomatic, just meaning you don't have symptoms yet. Just like every other flu. You don't have symptoms yet. Well, guess what? If you're pre-symptomatic, you don't have symptoms, you're not spreading the germs. So I would wait for some evidence on that. I have yet to see anybody. That's why I continue to call them out and say, hey, give me the evidence. They provide nothing. They continue to provide nothing. But they've locked themselves into this hole. Because if they decide to start meeting publicly in a way that is seen on television, seen as the face of their party, they're going to have to admit that they're liars. That in fact, there is no asymptomatic transmission. That in fact, the disease is not passed through children. In fact, the disease is not passed through healthy people. You are not getting we do not need to be wearing masks. We do not need to be social distancing. We do not need to have our businesses shut down. We do not need to be avoiding large gatherings. We don't need to be doing any of that. And if they didn't avoid each other, but here's the ridiculous thing. They're not. They're actually still doing fundraisers, still doing parties, still doing events where they're all up on top of each other. Hello, Erica. How's it going? So it's interesting to see. Now, there is a Facebook purge going on. We got a few more minutes here. I'm going to talk about this. There is a Facebook purge going on. As we mentioned at the beginning of the hour, they are purging all of the QAnon, of the Q and QAnon pages. Any folks who support, who are sharing a lot of QAnon posts, who have been sharing Q drops, larger pages. They have already done this purge last week on Twitter. They had a similar purge last week within the last 10 days on Twitter. I know. Virginia, this is funny. We can save the postal service by buying stamps. Write letters to pen pals. Do you have pen pals? I don't have any pen pals. I message them on the phone. I don't. Okay. What are you gonna do? So, Facebook is now purging QAnon Patriot pages and profiles, groups, etc. You're gonna see numbers drop. You're gonna see groups be explained, be dropped for no reason whatsoever, and it's gonna be very frustrating. What I'm gonna ask everyone to do is layer up on your communication. Layer up on your methods of communication. Layer up on all the platforms, Facebook, Twitter, get a couple of backup profiles on Facebook. Always good to have. Get a Parler account, but also get people's emails and phone numbers. Get their address, be their pen pal. This kind of communication going forward is going to be the kind of thing that allows us to continue to communicate and get out the vote in November when it's so important. Continue to make sure that we get people to the polls. The job is the same. The reality of the situation is the Democrats don't have the votes. They have to operate every possible shenanigan to try to manipulate the vote. They're going to try to steal a significant percentage of the vote. But frankly, I think we as patriots can do a lot to reduce some of that. One, by pushing back now, resisting mail-in voting in your city or state. If they are choosing to mail-in vote, make a pledge with your friends and get carpools together. And I need all Republicans, all conservatives, go to the polls and vote. So this is awesome. Chris, is hilarious. I want to put this up. Chris says we can fix the mail-in debate quick. Put out stamps with Trump's face. They would have to kiss his ass to mail it in. That's why they're doing the prepaid postage, but they should have that. Wouldn't it be great? If you lick it, that would be so good. That would be so good. So the reality is we need to make sure that other Republicans are taking the pledge to vote in person, that we're reducing the number of mail-in ballots that Republicans are engaging in whatsoever, and let them eat it. Let the Democrats eat their stupid failure. They came up with a stupid mail-in plan. How that plan was going to work is they're going to be able to throw out the Republican votes. Well, if we don't send the votes through the post office, then they're not going to be able to throw out the votes. They only have their votes to throw out. So, in reality, all this is going to backfire. We're already starting to see the ways in which it's going to backfire. We already are starting to see the methods in which it's going to backfire. And one of them is going to be taking the vote in person pledge. So I'm going to ask each and every one of you watching this show tonight, each and every one of you watching the replay a little bit later on, post on your social media, I pledge to vote in person. Do you pledge to vote in person? We're going to get all of our friends to pledge to vote in person. We're going to get carpools. We're going to have vote parties. Okay, everybody's going to go. We're going to meet at the polls. We're going to vote. We're going to go out for lunch. We're going to have pizza, whatever. Have election day watch parties, result watch parties. But we're going to vote together. We're going to make sure we're voting. We're going to make sure we're voting at the polls. We're going to defeat their model just by doing what we've always done. Just what we're doing before we've always done. And frankly, Chris, I want Trump stamps just so there can be Trump stamps. That's what I want. So, frankly, once we get through this election season, I think the new Postmaster General might consider a Trump stamp. We'll put in for one. So Loretta pledges to vote in person. Erica, yes, Virginia, you're exactly right. It says it's marked. It's marked on the ballots. They have it in the barcode. They're very sneaky. So go vote in person. You can vote early. You can vote on the day. I like to vote on the day. I like the excitement. I like to take time, vote on the day, etc. But whatever you do, make sure you go, you vote in person. So important. Make sure you get your friends there, you vote in person. And we're going to be putting together teams across the country to be ready to protest any voter fraud that occurs, that might occur. I know you have to be careful when you say any pizza. It's so annoying. I can't believe it. It's when I said pizza, I mean pizza. I mean dough. Okay, I mean actual bread, dough, pizza dough, spread out, and then they go shoop shoop with the sauce. All right, and then ingredients. I like a little sausage, a little mushroom, a little black olive. I can even do pineapple and Canadian bacon. I mean actual pizza. Democrats ruin everything. Democrats ruin everything. Chris, it's awesome. So sharing, Carol, vote in person. Let's get our friends to do that as well. Make sure we are voting in person. It's going to be so key. All right. Keep your eyes on the ball on Facebook, you guys. Just FYI, a lot of it has to do with Q related information. So just try to talk in a little bit of code for a while. And certainly if you're sharing Q posts, if you're sharing screenshots, okay, of Q drops, the bots are reading that. So what you're going to do is change the contrast, modify the picture a little bit so that it will be less available for the algorithm bots to actually read the pictures. It is what it is. So next time we will be back. On Friday. We're going to do Friday prayer meetings every Friday from now until the presidency. So we're going to do a short prayer meeting on Friday, about 15 minutes. Might be 8 o'clock, might be 9 o'clock. I'm starting to think 9 o'clock is more my Monday, Wednesday, Friday thing. 9 o'clock. And so we're going to be doing that. Tuesday and Thursday, I am broadcast on the exceptionalconservativeshow.com, the TECN.TV network. That's where I broadcast Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 p.m. on my show, Life, Liberty, and Talk. And as you know, this show and every show I do is brought to you by President Nutcracker. You can order your own President Nutcracker at presidentnutcracker.com, and it supports the work I do here. Plus, you get this awesome, one-of-a-kind, president-inspired Trump Nutcracker. All right. That is our show for today, folks. I'm going to go make some chicken tacos. And I hope you guys are having a wonderful evening. Please keep up the good work. Continue to share with your friends. Talk to your friends about voting in person. Make sure everybody's doing it. Explain to them the importance of it. If we share that information, if we make it an important issue for us to vote in person and we talk to other folks about it, they will do it as well. And we can certainly defeat a lot of this bull honky that the Democrats are doing right now. So keep that in mind. We'll be talking about it more as we go forward. Until next time, everybody, enjoy the evening. This is your girl, Suzzanne Monk. Trumping out.